So I may just have to awkwardly cut or split it, you know. So in case you wonder why it abruptly ends, but, you know. What is this? Ring?
This is a keepsake of your mother, Shia. It was given to her as a present by your father. Does the jewel set in the ring seem familiar at all? I thought it might. It's an argon heart, obtained by your father 20 years ago, during his initiation as Prince of Argonia.
Dun dun dun! If you can figure it out.
Long ago, some 20 years previous, a curious Dragovian girl by the name of Gia decided to visit the world of the humans. There, she chanced to meet a young prince named Eltrio. It was love at first sight. But her father, Chen Mui, none other than yours truly, objected. He took Xia back home to the Dragovian sanctuary so that the couple could never meet again. He thought it was the right thing to do. He believed there would never be any way for a Dragovian and a human to build a happy life together. But he was wrong. His foolish decision caused no end of sadness and tragedy for his beloved daughter Xia. Shortly after Chen Mui forced his daughter back to the sanctuary, a human body was found just outside. It was Eltrio. He had fought desperately to find Xia again, but died just before reaching the gates of the sanctuary. The death of her true love wounded Xia to her very soul. She plunged into an inconsolable sorrow. Her life ebbed away from her, day by day. One day, even while absorbed in her grief, Xia realized that she was pregnant with Eltrio's child. Every single one of the Dragovians objected, but she stood firm and decided to keep the baby. Xia delivered a healthy baby boy, but in her weakened state, she never recovered from the strain of childbirth and passed away soon after. The Council of Elders convened a discussion to decide what should be done about the half-human, half-Dragovian child. It took several years, but finally, the Council of Elders announced their final decision. The child's memory would be sealed away, and he would be banished from the sanctuary forever. Needless to say, by this time Chen Mui had changed his mind. He argued against the cruel and closed-minded decision at great length. But the Council of Elders refused to reverse it. Chen Mui cursed himself for his powerlessness. Shortly thereafter, the Lord of the Dragovians used his power to seal away the child's memories, and the boy was expelled from the sanctuary. The boy was Chen Mui's last remaining connection to his only daughter. He knew he could never truly abandon the child. So, Chen Mui begged the Lord of the Dragovians for permission to follow his grandson into the human world. The Lord of the Dragovians told Chen Mui that he would only allow it if Shenmue disguised his true appearance as a mouse and never spoke directly to the boy. Considering the hardship his grandson would be facing as an exile and an orphan in a totally new and unknown world, Shenmue made up his mind at once. He transformed himself into the likeness of a mouse and chased after the boy as quickly as he could. And now you know the whole story. My apologies for keeping it from you until now. Please forgive this doddering old man. As for the ring, I would like you to have it. I think Shia, your mother, would have wanted it that way. Perhaps you should have another look around the sanctuary. Or would you like to hear the story again? Hardly a surprise, given the length of the tale. Let us make our rounds of the sanctuary and tell everyone of your valiant service to the Dragovian elders.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that next time. But yeah. So we finally get the backstory to the hero, and it only took until, I don't know, the end game, the post game. And again, if you chose to just get the normal ending, you would never know about this. I do not like how they handled it. I really don't like the fact that it is literally a post-game thing. Like, you could argue and say his backstory isn't important, but when you include little subtle hints as to be like, oh hey, since the beginning of the first dungeon, where the boss is like, there's something special about you, you know what I mean? Like, there is something special about you, you know. And then like other times it's like, oh, he was the one, he was the boy that survived the you know, the big curse, and then like Rat Form tried to curse him again and it didn't work. I feel like if you're gonna build up stuff like that, they should have done a better job of trying to integrate his story into it, even if it wasn't the main thing. It's like, don't put all this mystery and then like shove it right at the end. It almost feels like it's an afterthought. You know, his backstory is an afterthought. That's what it feels like, and maybe it is, I don't know. But I hate that. I don't like the way it was handled. It's dumb. It's dumb. But I mean, I guess now we know. So there, if you couldn't figure it out, yes, he is the son of a Dragovian mother, and his father was human. And not only that, his father was the Prince of Argonia, the king, King Clavius's brother. That's why when the king was surprised to see the hero, he looked just like his missing brother. Because I don't think he knows that Eltrio is dead, but I think he has suspicions that he probably is, because he went on an adventure and he never saw him again. So I think he sort of just assumes that he's dead. But he doesn't know that his brother is buried in this dimension. He doesn't even know about it. So there you go, which makes King Clavius the hero's uncle. Which also, unfortunately, means that fucking Charmless is his cousin. Oh, no. Related to him. Oh, God. But it also makes him royalty. Because Eltrio... is this kind of a spoiler? I think, sort of, not really. Well, I mean, look, we've got the backstory, so I mean, is it really a spoiler? Basically, Eltrio is obviously the prince. We know that. That's not really a spoiler anymore. He was supposed to be the king, but, well, he disappeared. Never came back, and so King Clavius ended up being the king. But Eltrio was technically the next one in line. I don't know if Eltrio was older than him, but he was supposed to be the one who was actually meant to be king of Argonia. But like I said, he disappeared, he died, and so King Clavius, his brother, took his place. But yeah, that still makes the hero royalty. The hero is technically a prince, but think about it though. Like, all this happened because of our Dragovian grandfather. And both his parents are now dead. And the Dragovians rejected him as basically a bastard child. You know, he's like, oh my god, he's a half-breed. Disgusting. Sounded like this is fucking, like, a Game of Thrones shit, you know what I mean? Bastard child. But, yeah, like, they're literally like, okay, we're just going to expel him and throw him into the world with... Oh, I mean, okay, his grandfather was watching him, but he had to be a mouse. It was lucky that Tro took him in, you know? So I'm surprised that King Clavius didn't take him in, or didn't find him, but I don't actually know what happened sort of in between that. But obviously, like I said, Trode, I think it's implied that Trode took him in because he was an orphan, you know? There's also another problem I have with this, is that because the hero is a silent protagonist and he doesn't really emote that much, I feel like when something big as like, oh hey, look, this is the origins of your parents, that you've obviously forgotten, and I get it, his memories were sealed, so to him, I guess he doesn't know any better. But there's no like, oh, I wonder what my parents are like, or Medea doesn't say anything like, I wonder what your parents are like, or do you ever think about your parents? There's nothing like that. So it's like, should I really care? You know, like I said, it wasn't executed very well. It was badly executed. It really was. It's no wonder I've already begun feeling better. It's because the Lord of the Dragovians has returned to his senses, and it's all thanks to you. I never would have imagined that one day you'd be powerful enough to defeat the Lord of the Dragovians in battle. You never underestimate your opponent. That's what I always say. Never underestimate your opponent. You can also talk to Shenmue, by the way. It's following you. Do you say anything different or not? In the past, many called Miss Shia wicked for falling in love with a human. Ouch. But I can't imagine anyone saying that now. Yeah, again, the irony. The bastard child saved you all. You should worship me. Bitch, you should worship me. I am your new leader now. Get wrecked. Like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, it's like, how can you really care when the hero didn't know any better and he doesn't really show any much emotion or anything? So it's like, it's a pretty heavy backstory, really. But I don't know how to feel about that because the hero doesn't feel anything. You know, it's just, ugh. Like, here's an example that I like. People may or may not agree. Cloud. I'm not going to go into too much spoilers if you haven't played Final Fantasy VII, but Cloud. You know, Cloud acts a certain way, but then as time goes by, his kind of origin story sort of, you get like flashbacks, and as you progress, you start to learn a bit more about Cloud, and then you start to learn that maybe he's not quite acting like himself, and then you start to see why, and then you're like, oh, like, he's been through some crap and things have happened and he's all messed up, and, you know, it's like, oh, and then, like, you start to see, like, Cloud having these emotions, and obviously because he's not a silent protagonist, but he's also, like, he's expressing himself, you know, he's, like, kneeling on the ground, and he's, like, maybe, like, whacking the ground because he's angry or frustrated. You know, and it's like, oh man, you sort of feel bad for him and stuff, you know what I mean? You're feeling that emotion between the main character and you. But here it's just like, the hero just smiles. You know? It just kind of just smiles and just like, yeah, okay, I guess that happened. So, yeah. I didn't like how they executed that. Alright, well, I'm going to stop mumbling. Like I said, I'm going to split this part up, so I don't know where this part started and where it ended. I apologize for that, but it's been going on for long enough, so we're gonna leave it there. Now next time I think I'm probably gonna grind because we're gonna be tackling the Dragovian trials, and I'll just say right now, we're basically going to be fighting the King of Dragovia, the Lord of Dragovian, sorry, again, but in the various of different types of trials. Again, they are optional, but this is 100% completion, so we will be doing it. Technically, I have the Argon Ring, and I know the backstory and all that jazz, I can get the alternate ending right now. But no, we're gonna be doing the Dragovian trials. We're gonna be trying to beat them, and then make sure we've got the last of the treasures, especially the mini medals. And I think there's like a couple other things I haven't done, like a few optional things. They're not like really needed, I would say, the completion, but yeah, a couple of things. So yeah, but we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. Whew. Finally got the backstory, eh? Oh dear. Yeah, the one thing I don't like about this game is how they handle the hero and the story, and I just don't feel like I care. I feel more sorry for his parents. You know what I mean? I don't, like, I sort of feel sorry for him, but I feel more sorry for his parents, you know, being basically rejected because, oh no, you know, they're not both human, and that's just wrong in society's eyes, you know. So it's like, oh, that's fucking weird, man. But yeah. Oh well. So like, it's gonna be pretty hard. So I will say, next time I'll be showing you guys like where I've been grinding, which is basically the slime place, and I'll show you the levels and what I plan to do with the Dragovian trials, because they are, well, you know, as you probably guess, not easy. But until then, guys, take care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.